GM is checking off a lot of things on the list for this 2027 Chevy Silverado half-ton. Now, most of you guys know this truck, including its sibling, the GMC Sierra, are the only half-tons that currently have a diesel option. Now, for 2027, they are making a big change that will actually put them upstream in the market, I think, for people who need fuel economy, especially right now. With that being said, what do you think they're going to change on the LZO to enhance fuel economy? We're going to read an article here, and I can't wait for you guys to see what they're going to be doing, because this has been something I've seen in the comment section on a lot of my reviews in regards to these trucks. So let's jump into it.
So the title says 2027 Chevy Silverado Duramax to boast 1,000-mile range. That is pretty significant compared to what we have today. Now the article goes on to say the 27 Chevy Silverado is just over the horizon, set to deliver a long list of critical changes with the debut of a new generation. Now GM Authority has been pretty much covering a lot of different topics on this truck, like styling, tech, powertrains, and trim levels. So naturally they have some insider info on this upcoming long range configuration. Down below it does say, according to sources familiar with the matter, the next generation half-ton 2027 Chevy Silverado Duramax will offer configurations capable of traveling up to 1,000 miles on a single tank of fuel. This massive range potential will be available from trucks equipped with a turbo diesel Duramax engine, known as the 3-liter inline-6 LZO in the current trucks. It will be made possible by an optional oversized fuel tank and some minor fuel efficiency improvements. While we don't know yet the exact numbers behind the efficiency gains, potential improvements could stem from refinements to aerodynamics and powertrain tuning.
This is a big deal for GM because as of right now, they have the smallest fuel tank capacity of any other half-ton pickup in the segment. And this has been a big complaint for GM owners and guys that are potentially looking to buy their trucks. Ford F-150 has up to 36 gallons. The Ram 1500 has up to 33 gallons. It's an option for both of those trucks. But it does come standard with some of the powertrain configurations. But Toyota has a 32.2 gallon tank capacity standard. So going from 24 to even 28 for the diesel is a big improvement, especially with enhancements they could do to the engine. So yes, this is a big deal. And remember, those competitors don't have a diesel option, so they will have class leading range for the GMC and Chevy pickups.
Now for the current 2026 Silverado Duramax 1500, it does deliver up to 28 miles per gallon on the highway when equipped with the LZO Baby Duramax, depending on the configuration, typically two-wheel drive. The current Silverado also offers fuel tank capacities of 22, 24, or 28 gallons, although the largest 28-gallon tank is not available in conjunction with the diesel engine. As a result, the highest range currently achievable is approximately 600 miles for the two-wheel drive diesel models and 576 miles for four-wheel drive diesel models. That means the 2027 Chevy Silverado could improve maximum range by as much as 400 miles, giving it a major advantage for long-haul drivers, fleet operators, and customers who simply prefer fewer fuel stops. Though filling all the way up at the pump will certainly not be cheap. As covered previously, this massive range increase is only one of many upgrades expected to roll out for the 27 Chevy Silverado 1500, with other highlights including new LED lighting and new sheet metal as previewed by a series of patent images, a redesigned interior with new infotainment systems and displays. Alongside the 3-liter Duramax, GM will also roll out two new Gen 6 small block V8s displacing 5.7 and 6.6 liter, and a more potent version of the TurboMax. There will also be a bunch of smaller refinements in terms of usability, towing, comfort, and tech, including a new shifter, a built-in sunglass holder, which has actually been missing on these trucks, an available passenger side screen,
which is pretty much being used in one of the competitors' Ram. So let's back up for a second. The LZO Duramax is really in a class of its own, right? Wouldn't it be nice, I'm gonna speculate a little bit, wouldn't it be nice if GM found a way to get rid of maybe one of the emission components on that truck, which would be DEF and SCR? Not saying it's gonna happen, but you guys have seen there's a lot of rollback with emissions in regards to DEF. So now if you don't fill up your DEF tank, the truck won't go into a limp mode basically, right? But the reality is, because these trucks are not in the medium duty segment, heavy duty segment, it would be nice if GM was able to get, I would call it a pass, to not have to use that system, because that would really save people a lot of money, especially if you drive a lot of miles a year. Now, obviously DEF is, you're probably gonna get anywhere between 300 to 600 miles a gallon on that. But if you're towing, you could go down to less than 1,000 miles of range, you know, if you're doing a lot of towing with that 3-liter Duramax. But as far as the tuning goes, it's very possible they're gonna do enhancements there, aerodynamics obviously. But if they were to do something even with like the piston design, it's very possible that they can make this engine run more efficiently, and to the point where it may not even have to have emissions components on it. But we obviously know that that's not going to happen. But it would be nice if GM were to take the LZO to the next level. Now, we're going to talk about reliability at the end of this video, because I'm pretty sure if I don't mention this, someone's going to mention it in the comment section, and I'd rather just nip it in the bud in this video here. But before we talk about that, 6.6 liter and 5.7 liter displacement engines coming. Now, you guys heard that the Chevy Corvette is getting a 6.7 liter that's going to be found in the Grand Sport, and most likely obviously in the Stingray 2. So there's a lot of changes coming really fast. Now, obviously the 6.2 liter currently has had a lot of reliability issues, and that's pretty tragic for GM. And I'm willing to bet you this 6.6 liter engine that you're seeing for the half tons will probably point to a bigger displacement gas engine coming for the HD. So I can't wait to hear some updates and some press release on that truck, which will be redesigned probably in 2028. But yeah, the 3-liter Duramax does have some options here when it comes down to efficiency. There's a lot of things they can do, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. If they're planning on running a larger fuel tank, I've mentioned this in a lot of other videos, and I'm going to keep mentioning it in every video I do. If you are someone very interested in the diesel option, here's what you have to understand. Avoid biodiesel if you don't drive that much. I know some people probably buying this truck probably already know that, hey, with diesels, you have to do a lot of highway driving. If you do a lot of city driving, the emissions components like the DPF can have issues with them. So you want to try to get that diesel hot. So if you do a lot of long trips on the highway, you're fine. You're going to have no issues. If you know you're going to be driving your truck, you know, pretty much weekly, biodiesel is not bad in regards to that. But if you allow your truck to sit for months at a time, maybe you travel overseas or something like that, and your truck's going to be sitting, it's best to find fuel that does not have B20, B5 in it, because that fuel over time oxidizes, and then it creates acids which can damage the fuel system, and then obviously over time can damage internally. So this is something to consider. And if they are adding a larger fuel tank option, even for the 5.7 and the 6.6 engines, then those may be good alternatives, because obviously they're going to get longer ranges too. Now we have to talk about these failures, because most of you guys know that yes, the LZO Duramax is failing for whatever reason. Not sure if GM has released anything, but I did a video probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 months ago. They had two 2026 trucks, I believe, in the shop, less than 10,000 miles on them for failures, okay? Now, I don't film anymore at the GMC store that I used to with Brian, and maybe I'll explain in another video, but someone thought they were doing me a favor by showing my video to everybody, and unfortunately got to the wrong people, and now I can't film there, but not a big deal. I talked to Brian a couple weeks ago, and he told me he had 2 more LZOs that were in the shop for failures. I think they were both 26s, or maybe one was a 25. They both had less than 10,000 miles on them. That is very alarming. It seems like whether you buy a Toyota or a GM product or whatever, it's like engine failures are just happening, as if engines haven't been being made for 100 years plus. Like, engines should be so reliable that failures should be a shock, right? We should be thinking in our heads, a failure, why would they have a failure? Our technologies are more advanced, our fuels, our oils are more advanced, but for whatever reason, these engines are going down in very low mileage, before oil changes in some cases. So this is the only concerning issue with GM. And the sucky thing about it is they're introducing 2 new engines, which means we don't even know if they've fixed the issues in the 6.2 liter. This is the biggest issue I see right now with manufacturers. Peace of mind has to be brought up when they do the unveil with this upcoming truck. I really think that even for Toyota, like with their 3.4 liter twin turbo V6, my wife has it in her SUV. It's still under a recall, and it's like a replacement engine is at some point going to be available. They haven't even worked it out yet. But even for GM, why are these engines failing? Why did the 6.2 all of a sudden start failing as well? Now the 5.3 liter was, to the best of my knowledge, not having any failures after, I believe, what was it, 21. I think they had some cam and lifter issues too, but eventually that engine started to be more reliable over time, basically. But the other issue obviously is with cylinder deactivation. Are they going to stop using that system on these upcoming engines? I would also like to see direct import injection on these 5.7 and 6.6 liter engines too. But we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.